morning, this is Bob Mason from FX Empire and welcome to the daily crypto tech review of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin and Ripple's XRP. Looking at the MACDs, the moving averages and the day's support, resistance and pivot levels. It is Sunday, the 18th of July. Looking at Bitcoin against the US dollar and the hourly candlesticks, bullish start to the day. Going to need to see Bitcoin avoid a fall back through the pivot at 31,590 to take a run at the first major resistance level at 31,970. Going to need to see support from the broader market for Bitcoin to move back through to 31,900 levels, however. So barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level and yesterday's high at 32,000 to cap any upside. In the event of an extended rally, should see Bitcoin target 33,000 levels before any pullback. Second major resistance level sits at 32,380. A fallback through the pivot will bring the first major support level at 31,180 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Bitcoin should stay clear of sub 30,000 levels. Second major support level at 3,800 should limit the downside. Looking at the MACD, you've got a marked narrowing of the bullish histograms through the turn of the day, coming off the back of yesterday's late pullback. So look out for a possible bearish cross. On the EMAs, the 50 has flattened on the 100 and the 200. That's still a bearish signal, however. Need to keep an eye on that through the morning. Further widening would support further downside. Key through the early part of the day, therefore, avoid a fall back through the pivot 31,590. Move back through to 31,900 levels to bring resistance levels into play. Failure to do that, the support levels will be in play. Moving across Ethereum against US dollar, positive start to the day. Going to need to Ethereum avoid the pivot at 1890 to support a run at the first major resistance level at 1929. Support from the broader market is going to be needed for Ethereum to break out from this morning's high at 1913.65. So barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level to cap any upside. In the event of an extended rally, could see Ethereum target 2,000 levels before any pullback. Second major resistance level sits at 1959. A fall through the pivot, bring the first major support level at 1860 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Ethereum should avoid sub 1800 levels. Second major support level at 1821 should limit the downside. Looking at the MACDs, we have a widening of the bullish histogram at the turn of the day, supporting this early upside. So keep an eye out for a further widening. On the EMAs, the 50s also flattened on the 100 and the 200, a slight narrowing there, supporting the early upside this morning. So key would be to avoid the pivot at 1890 and move back through this morning's high, 1913.65. to bring resistance levels into play. Failure to do that, and support levels will be in play. Across the Litecoin against US dollar, relatively positive start. Going to need to see Litecoin avoid a fallback through the pivot at 120 to take a run at the first major resistance level at 123. Support from the broader market is going to be needed for Litecoin to break out from yesterday's high. That was at 122.95. So barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level to cap any upside. In the event of an extended rally, should see Litecoin target the second major resistance level at 126. A fall back through the pivot will bring the first major support level at 118 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Litecoin should avoid sub 110s. Second major support level at 115 should limit the downside. Looking at the MACDs, we have a narrowing of the bullish histograms through the turn of the day, so look out for a further narrowing that would signal downside through the morning. On the EMAs, more significantly, the 50 has pulled further back from the 100 and the 200, suggesting further downside ahead. So key would be to avoid a fall through the pivot at 120 and move back through to 122 levels to bring that first major resistance level at 123 into play. Failure to do that, and support levels will come into play. Finally, looking at Ripple's XRP against US dollar, relatively positive start. Going to see Ripple's XRP avoid the pivot at 0.58 to take a run at the first major resistance level of 0.5993. We'll need plenty of support from the broader market for Ripple's XRP to move back through to 0.59 levels, however. So barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level and yesterday's high at 0.5972 to cap any upside. In the event of an extended rally, got the second major resistance level at 0.6165 that will likely come into play. Fall through the pivot would bring the first major support level at 0.5628 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Ripple's XRP should avoid sub 0.54 levels. Second major support level at 0.5435 should limit the downside. Looking at the MACDs, we have a narrowing of the bullish histograms at the turn of the day. No signs of a bearish cross, however, so keep an eye on that through the morning. On the EMAs, the 50 has continued to pull back from the 100 and the 200, suggesting further downside ahead. So key would be to avoid the pivot at 0.58, move back through to 0.59 levels to bring resistance levels into play. Failure to do that, and support levels will be in play.